In today's video, I'm taking a labyrinth of a house and turning it into this adorable little family home. Let's get into the speed build. Okay, I have it on a freeze frame here because I really want you to get a feel for this floor plan. So there are two spaces in which, well, kind of three spaces in which there are walls going straight through the house. The first is at the kitchen and the first laundry room. Yes, I said first laundry room. The second is at that big bathroom, second laundry room, and the hallway over to the right. And then the third is between the hallway and those two far bedrooms at some point in that space, and I think it's that hallway and two small bedrooms all the way on the end. I think that used to be a garage because there's a step down there in that doorway. Cutting off the two hallways, there's a step down. So I think that used to be a garage, and why they remodeled the part in between that hallway and the kitchen to look the way it looks, I have no idea. Like, it makes no sense. It creates a really weird labyrinth effect. I have no idea where the original kitchen was at or anything, but the house has definitely been added onto over the years. The bump outs were later add-ons because the roof is not even attached to the house roof, and the roofs over the bump outs are in really bad shape, and they left nubs of walls where they added porches on, like on the left side of the screen. Those, I believe, are porches added to the bedroom and the living room, and they didn't put a header in, or they left nubs of walls and thought that that would hold the ceiling up if it's load bearing. Let's see if we can fix this house. Let's get into the speed build. So for me, the first thing I wanted to figure out was where I reasonably thought a house like this could be remodeled while keeping it as realistic as possible. And I think I think I know where one major load bearing wall is for sure, and you're gonna see me put that wall in just a second. That right there, because I think that's about where that step into what I feel like used to be a garage is at. So I'm pretty sure that's a load bearing wall. Also, the roof, the shape of the roof, indicates that that would be a load bearing wall. So I think it would be reasonable that you could separate those spaces and convert that end space into a garage. Again, my goal here is to not just make these pretty sim houses. The goal is to actually remodel houses that could be done in real life. So while I did initially delete that wall, I wouldn't have just deleted it because there was a wall already there. I thought I was going to move the garage over a little bit further and keep that hallway, but I ended up deciding that that's where the step was at, and so that's where the garage should stay. And so that wall would have just stayed there, and I would have switched out the open doorway for a closed garage doorway. Um, but yeah, the whole point is taking these little old houses that have had bad things happen to them over the years and remodel them in a way that makes them 100 times more functional and also pretty. In keeping with the idea of keeping it realistic but pretty, I could see three major expenses to remodeling this house in real life from the original floor plan that I was working off of. One, potentially putting a header over there on the near where the living room space is at, and you have those walls and everything, where it looks like they added a porch onto that bedroom and living room. You may need to, if it's like a load bearing space, although they left a huge expanse without anything to bear the load on, which makes me think that it's not a load bearing space. They just, for whatever reason, did not want to take those bump out walls out all the way. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. But if you had to put steel headers in there to hold the load up of the roof, that would be one big expense. Turning those bedrooms and back hallway into a garage would probably be less of an expense than people think it would be. It would be mainly tearing out anything that makes it a livable indoor space and converting it back into essentially what is an outdoor space, because it has to be essentially weatherproof, right? If it's going to be a garage, it has to essentially be weatherproof. So you would have to take out any and all of the flooring and make sure the concrete doesn't have like any old adhesives or anything on it. Maybe even re-pour and re-smooth out some of the concrete. And you would have to probably, maybe, I say probably, but I'm not sure if you would actually need to take down the drywall or not. I don't even know if you would need to change the insulation, because the garage on my house, so my house is a very similar type of house, 1 story, gabled roof, with an attached garage that kind of is slightly enveloped by the living space. Well, kind of and not really. It's hard to explain. It is directly connected to bedrooms, though. And so our garage has a fire barrier between the house and the garage in the walls. The walls themselves are fire barriers, so that if something should happen in the garage, fire can't spread into the house, or at least not as easily, anyways. But I think all you would really have to do is reinstall the fire barrier. You would, because our garage is drywalled, it's insulated, so I don't think you would have to do much other than make the wall between the house and the garage be a fire barrier wall. That's all you would have to do. So in that case, the header for the front part of the house there would be your biggest expense. The rest all seems like a major change. Like, you look at this floor plan when it's done and you think, wow, that is an enormous change from what was originally here. But really, it's not. It's just dividing the space up better and making better use of the space, rather than having a bunch of oddly shaped rooms that were just haphazardly added on. The thing I forgot about was the bump outs. So those might be kind of expensive to tear off and build new outside walls, on the living room mainly, because the bump out on the bedroom side is a closet. So that basically already has the wall there. You just have to re-stucco the outside, because that's what this house is. It's a cement block and stucco house. That might be an expense there for the living room and dining room space to re-stucco the outside. I've heard that can be quite expensive to rebuild outside walls and then re-stucco them because it is a cement or cinder block or something. Cement. I'm gonna assume it's cement. It is a cement block house. And so, yeah, like that would be a huge expense, but it's not that big of a space. So I still think it's doable. And you could transform this almost a labyrinth-like house into something so much more functional and pretty. Not that the house is not pretty. Someone definitely tried to come in and remodel at some point. They put all new kitchen cabinets in. They put all new bathroom fixtures and tiling in. Like, they made the house look pretty, but they left the really bad layout. And I'm sorry, I cannot handle a house with a bad layout. I really can't. I also, the rooms, like, there are so many bedrooms and they're just all very small. If you're gonna keep the bedrooms on the end, then turn them all into one big master bedroom. And if it's too big, then add a storage closet to one end. You know, make the I don't know. There's so many, like, part of why I got stuck on this house and why it took me so long and why it melted my brain every time I looked at it was there were just so many things you could do to this house, both in real life and in The Sims, that it was hard to know where to start. But also, for like a real life remodel of this house, it would be hard without bringing in a structural engineer to know exactly which walls are load bearing. The fact that there was a wall that went straight through the center of the house, at the edge of the kitchen, between those two bedrooms that you're looking at on the screen right now, and then through the kitchen, does make me wonder if maybe that potentially was a load bearing wall of some kind at some point for some reason. But it could also just be a coincidence that it just happened to be that the bedroom ended in the same place as the kitchen ended. And so it looked like a wall cutting the house in half. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. But I do think that it is mostly doable to remodel this house in this way. And it does give it the prettiest and most efficient look and layout. And I really don't think it would be as expensive as it would seem. And that's, again, I think I mentioned this like 500 times already, but that's why I do these videos of taking these houses that I find and remodeling them in The Sims 4. Because I think it's fun when a fresh set of eyes comes in and looks at something. Like, sometimes you're just in a state where you're looking for a place to live, you need a place to live, and you maybe don't have a ton of money or whatever, you're in a rush, whatever, and so you take whatever house is available in your price range and you get in there and you start living in the space. Because, I mean, how many people can truly feasibly live in one home that they own while remodeling another home that they're about to move into? Like, that's not a normal everyday thing for the majority of us. I would not be able to do it. My family would not be able to do it. We would have to live in the home that we are purchasing, because we would not be able to afford to have two concurrently running houses at the same time. It just would not be possible in any way, shape, or form for us. So, you get into a house and you're just trying to get by for the time being while you make plans. and then life starts happening and you get stuck and you don't know what to do or where to start or how to move forward or what would even be required to start a project like that. And so you just don't. And then the house sits the same way and it never changes and you're annoyed by it and you need to get out of it, and that's why these houses end up back on the market, either because you just can't stand living in that house anymore the way it's set up, or because you've fallen on hard times and you can't afford it. That's an unfortunate reality for many, many people, especially right now. But, you know, believe it or not, a lot of these houses that have poor designs and plans and whatnot, because they've been sort of haphazardly added onto over the years. This is not something, by the way, that you would find where I live at all. Like, I pore over real estate websites all the time. All the time. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. It's like a hobby for me to pore over real estate websites and look at all the things that I would do differently in various houses, or things that I just puzzle over and try to figure out why people made the choices that they made. Like, what were you thinking when you did that to your house? Come on. But yeah, I pore over these. This is like a hobby of mine. And I totally lost my train of thought. But yeah, so thought gone. Oh well. Anyways, I think you get the point. We should be nearing the end of the actual speed build part here right shortly. But my point is just that I kind of just enjoy doing this. I have no reason to do it. I have no need to do it. I just enjoy taking these poor houses and making them functional and pretty, and doing it as easily as possible. This is by far one of the most extensive remodels on one of these types of houses. Oh, I think that's what I was saying before, was that you would never find this in a house up here where I live. So obviously different parts of the country and different worlds, what? Different, oh my god, I'm stuck in Sims 4 mode. Different countries in the world and different parts of this country have different building codes. There, I knew I could get my brain to work eventually. And so is it just me, or does it feel like the video slowed down all of a sudden? I feel like the video slowed down all of a sudden. But anyways, up here we get a lot of snow, like a lot of snow, like a lot of snow where I live, like tons of it. And the building codes have always been much stricter up here because we have a lot of snow that we have to deal with, like a lot of snow, and everything has to be able to support the weight of that snow, you know what I mean? And back post World War II down south, the building codes were a lot more relaxed, way more relaxed than they are now, for sure, but also than they were up north here. And so you end up with these haphazardly added onto houses. And this particular house, by the way, some of the things that they did in this house make so very little sense, that there's a concrete block. So this bedroom is next to the front door, right? Or what they're using now as the front door, because it has the mailbox and the house numbers on it. So they're now using it as the front door, whether it originally was or not. And right next to that front door is a cement block that looks like it was part of a completely poured cement front porch. So the floors of the porch were cement. The what? How do I? The like the ballot the what's the word? Handrails, like the bottom. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Little half walls of concrete were around this little front porch that they had here on the front of this door at one time. They took most of it away, but they left like a few inches of concrete sticking up out of the ground and stuff, sort of showing where it was at. Except in the wall right there by that front door is a concrete block. Literally, they built the wall around this concrete block. I don't know if they were just too cheap to remove the concrete block, or if there's some special thing about this concrete block. It looks like it was just part of the front porch. It looks like it was just a part of the half wall of the front porch. And so it could have been gotten rid of. And instead of getting rid of it, they just literally built the wall around it. So it sticks out of the front of the house by a few inches, maybe 6 inches, and then it sticks into the house by maybe about 2 feet or a foot, give or take a little bit, and it stands about 2 feet tall, and they just built the wall around it. It's the weirdest thing I have ever seen, but also they have something very similar in the bathroom. They have a weird concrete bump out on the wall, almost like you would see in a basement or something, where I guess at one point it was considered the style to create like a few inches in lower wall and create like a bump out on the lower part of the wall, especially if the wall was facing the exterior, I guess, and it had windows on it, and there was the little bump out. That's what the bathroom had in it. So they made some very weird choices with this house. Anyways, the speed build portion of this is done. I forgot to hit record when I worked on the yard. I'm sorry, but we're gonna just get straight into the walkthrough because, I basically just didn't do the recording of the yard. So let you look at the fence that I ultimately chose here, and then we will get into the walkthrough. Okay, so there are no trees on this lot. I don't know how fast palm trees grow, but I don't think you can cheaply or easily get even full-grown palm trees real quickly. So I put short little stubby palm trees. I've seen a few of those in Florida, like the really short stubby ones that kind of basically almost look like bushes. They're just growing straight out of the ground. I figured those you could get and they would grow relatively fast, right? And then a couple of baby trees here, and then some very simple landscaping. This, I'm fairly certain, was the house's original entrance, but because it may or may not be anymore, I also turned this into the entrance as well. So now your Sims have whoa, excuse me, camera. So now your Sims have 2 entrances. The backyard I didn't do much with. I know it looks kind of plain, but I built this place for a young family, so I figure they're probably kind of getting a start in life, and they haven't fully decided what they want to do with the backyard yet, and or they spent all their money on the house. Let's go with that. I honestly didn't want to do yet another stereotypical Florida swimming pool in the backyard, because not all houses have those down there. Just, a lot of them. But anyways, I wanted it to be a little bit different. And they have a toddler. Who puts in a swimming pool when they have a toddler? Unless you want to spend all of your time just hovering over that toddler. I don't know. I have a terrible fear of children drowning and pets drowning. So swimming pools are scary when you have small pets and small children. Anyways, here's the inside of the house. Technically a bedroom. Excuse me. Apparently I'm suddenly having troubles talking. But technically a 3-bedroom home. However, this little Sim family is using the front bedroom as an office for now, because I thought this would be a great place for a photographer to live. So I put a bunch of photography stuff in there, computer for editing photos and all that. You've got a nice big open living room, dining room space here, plenty of lounging area, eating area, and even a space for the kids to play, or in this case, the one toddler. I didn't show this bathroom other than the different sort of carpet there. It's more or less basically the same black and white bathroom as the other bathroom, just much, much smaller. This is where the furnace is at, so that could not be moved. This is the nursery or toddler bedroom here. I decided to go with a semi-sophisticated, sort of deep, almost black and white, like almost monotone kind of look to it, and then just splash color. Primary colors mostly all over in it, because I thought that would be cute. And then the parents' bedroom with a little wardrobe tucked in the corner here. Fairly small bedroom, but you take what you can get in these smaller, older homes. It does have a big ensuite bathroom. However, it's also the laundry room. So I figure it's like okay that it's a big bathroom, because it functions as both a bathroom and laundry room. And then that gives you this extra space here for more storage here. While it does have a nice big garage in The Sims, you don't have a car, so I couldn't put a car in here. But if there were cars, I would put a car in here, and that would take up significant amount of the storage area out here. And so, everybody could always use more storage. And honestly, it's a garage. Not everything you're going to want to store out in the garage anyways. And the bedrooms themselves, none of them have closets. Not even, yes, I guess in the real life plan, this bedroom here in the front and this bedroom, the original way it was, did have a closet. But they were like really tiny closets. There's no attic and no basement, so having plenty of storage is like necessary. It's like it's not really a bonus. I was about to say it's a bonus, but no, it's actually quite necessary. I figured they're maybe into kayaking or whatever, so I added those. And then of course we have the big garage that doesn't have any cars to put in it, but I included it anyways because it is a real life floor plan. And I know the difference is dramatic, like incredibly dramatic, but really all I did was move this wall in here and get rid of all these little tiny rooms and closets and spaces that were like dead non-usable space. And I think I more or less basically kept the bathroom. I just took the washer and dryer that was here and moved them into here instead and expanded the kitchen to include this area here. You know? You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, there's a pantry there too. Oh, and this little space here is where the water heater is at. So that had to stay as well, because if I know, like, some of the most expensive things in remodeling a home are relocating the furnace, relocating the hot water heater, and any steel headers you would have to put in for load-bearing areas that don't have walls under them. Those are like the three most major remodeling expenses. And then next would be changing outside walls like this. But this was such a short expanse of wall that I feel like it wouldn't be that expensive, although maybe I'm dreaming there. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments, but I love taking these floor plans and making dramatic changes to them to make them almost feel like a totally different house. Let me know what you think of this particular remodel down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!